Hey, this is Steven from Steven's Classic Garage, and we're back about a minute or two after my last video. I went and got some more documentation to talk to you guys about this here. So, also, so you can see here more. You can see the deep scratches there. So you need to go upwards of the 500 wet might work that it was recommending, but I would go upwards higher. Go to about 800 just to be safe, so you don't see these deep scratches that this thing does not fill, that this stuff does not fill in. So again, I'm not bashing Omni. I've used it on the dash. It's very good stuff. On the dash I used Omni Black, MBX, I think it was just regular MB or whatever, black on the dash, and then I used TranStar Hewitt Clear, and stuff buffed out beautifully. So I'm not bashing Omni, it's just that on these exterior panels for a first paint job, the coverage, first paint job and first bodywork job, the coverage is probably not exactly what you're looking for, and the bang for the buck is probably not the best for what you are looking for. Obviously what Omni brings to the table compared to those guys, compared to the lacquer from Duplicolor Paint Shop, is the choice in colors. You could really choose a lot of different colors. For example, here, I think this is a pretty good match of 1965 vintage burgundy. I think it is a really good match. It's definitely an interesting color. Definitely a lot of flake and such inside of it. So, I mean, I'm not bashing the color. I do like the color. I think for me it might be a little dark. I don't know about if it fits my style. I mean, I could bring out the vinyl top, which obviously is going to be really dark, and so they might complement themselves pretty well. But, so I'm going to talk about my next steps here. So here I brought out the documentation here. So this is what I spent on this guy. Okay, so I made a mistake. Oh, this got staple in it. It's got staple in the back, so I might not do that. So here, my last one here. So I bought a white painted suit that's down there. Smart Paint suit. It's really, really nice. It's like it's not like a cloth. It's actually plastic. So here the reducer is actually $10, $9.42 for this reducer that will do a half quart. Now here's for color. Omni color is $26. So $26 to spray basically this panel. I'm gonna round it to just this panel, and so half pint for this panel, maybe another half pint or less for the bottom panel. There I don't have any metal spots, so I'm saying three coats. I'm gonna say probably, let's just say, another pint on the bottom. Obviously we're gonna start to get some rounding error, as I would be left with a little bit of the cup left on each side. But the problem is you would have to perfectly mix it in order to have that left. So you would have to know exactly how much you're gonna spray, which you don't. You put the whole thing, and then if you have any left over, you throw it out. Especially if you're doing like probably how I'm going to do it on this project, is shoot one at a time. So, and also I'm thinking now I want to give some pointers on how to shoot Omni. I'll have to do another video on that. Do a whole video dedicated to how to shoot the Omni the best way, and how to prep for it, from what I've learned from this panel here, if you're going to do it in the garage. Okay, so the whole car probably is going to be double of what I was thinking it was going to originally cost me. So I was originally thinking about $304 for the color and about $150 for the clear. Now I'm going to go over the clear. I actually did buy the clear. The clear is right there in the can. Now that is pretty high for basically somebody doing their first bodywork job and their first paint job on a car. So I'm thinking that's pretty high to learn. All said and done, you're talking about almost well, there you can see that's I'm trying to think of the actual cost. So 36 bucks, but it's actually $5 because this only does half of that. So $5. So I'm gonna say $30. So $30 for the hood, $30 underneath. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So about 11 of those. So that's still about $330. Let me see. Yeah, $330. So $330, but that can't be right. It's got to be higher than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10. Yep, and then maybe the front. So that's about 11. So that might actually shoot for $330, but you have to have perfect. You have to have a perfect cover. And then with that, so my other option, I have another option that I'm gonna run by you guys, which is some of the guys back in the day when urethane first came out, they were still used to shooting lacquer color. So what they actually did is they shot the lacquer and then they cleared it with the urethane. And now when you're using the urethane clear, you have an activator. So one of the things how I took off the previous lacquer off of this guy, so I tried to sand it and it didn't sand very well. So what I did is I just took acetone, I rubbed it on a rag, and then put it on top of the panel. And after you leave it soaking for long enough and you use enough rags, the lacquer just comes right off. The clear comes right off and the lacquer comes right off with it. So that's obviously not good because somebody could walk up to your car and hit it with lacquer thinner, it comes right off. But the color, the primer underneath this stayed. So the primer has an activator, which is that tiny little cup to the right of it with the same kind of purple color. So because it has an activator, you cannot separate the activator from the primer. So the acetone had no effect when it touched the primer. So the lacquer came right off, but the primer stayed. So the same thing would happen to this guy because it uses acetone as a reducer. So if I put this, which it says right here, it says contents acetone and then something else. So if I use that acetone again on top of this, that omni will come right off. So this has the same protection right now as my lacquer clear coat. But what some people have done back in the day, and I don't know, not so much now, but they've used the lacquer base coat and then they cleared it with this stuff here. So you shoot the lacquer down and then you clear it with this. Now the lacquer won't lift because this has its own activator and no acetone. And also it will seal the coat because now it will not react with acetone because that has an activator in it, and it will basically lock in that lacquer, so it will basically protect that lacquer. Same deal with the urethane. With the urethane here for the top coat from Omni, is that the clear is what protects the Omni from getting attacked by the sun or chemically attacked by other stuff. So now I have some thinking to do. That's probably the cheapest way, and if it works, I would obviously recommend. If I try it and it works, I would obviously recommend that way. Limitations are color choices. You don't really have a lot of color choices if you're using the paint shop. If you're using the paint shop lacquer, you only have those colors to pick from. However, I do have one color that suits what I'm trying to shoot very, very well. So, or is really, really close to what I'm trying to shoot compared to all the colors in the rainbow, right? Pretty close to what I'm shooting right now. So if that works, that's probably what I would recommend. I'll double check the financials here and see what works out to be the best option for me. I'm thinking to go with the cheapest option for my first paint job. But as you can see here with the clear, and this clear, which I'll tell you guys right now, I have not yet shot it, so I can't recommend it, but it's the Euro from Smart Shop. I think I found out that also that they are kind of rebranding. Obviously it's rebranded Smart, but 5 Star Extreme also has their clear coat called Eurostar, which is almost the same. I think it's the same exact thing as that. The can looks the same, it's just a label different. And I spent, what is this? This is 60, 62, and 54. So I spent about $116 on that. So that is probably the best choice for clear as far as cost. So these two options I think are probably going to be the best deal for me. So I'm going to look into it and I'll get back to you guys. Thank you guys for watching my two-part update on the paint on the